Hi, I'm Danny Thompson, and welcome to the first film in our season of horror movies at Loaded TV. Tonight, we have an undisputed classic in the zombie genre for you to feast your eyes upon, the Italian gore fest that is Zombie Flesh Eaters. Released in 1979 in its native Italy under the title Zombie 2, Zombie Flesh Eaters was presented as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, although it was produced by an entirely different film company.
What is all this about the dead coming back to life again and having to be killed the second time? I mean, what the hell's going on here?
You ever heard of voodoo?
Written before George A. Romero's shopping mall classic, Zombie Flesh Eaters is set on a remote Caribbean island. However, additional opening scenes set in New York were added after principal photography had been completed to increase appeal with American audiences.
That must be it, Bill.
The film was originally offered to legendary Italian director Enzo, who was busy with other projects at the time. He in turn suggested the tempestuous Lucio Fulci as his replacement, who then took the reins.
Don't scream. Don't scream.
He drafted in Brit actor Ian McCulloch and Mia Farrow's younger sister Tisa as the film's leads, who often found Fulci demanding and unreasonable.
Now, don't give me the same old story.
Well, actually, officer...
Same old story, huh?
On completing filming, McCulloch felt wholly underwhelmed with the production, as the epic zombie sequences were yet to be added.
That you're the one who's crazy, demented, cruel, evil.
It wasn't until he saw the completed film that he appreciated Fulci's vision. McCulloch felt the film's success was largely due to the fantastically gruesome makeup and visual effects created by production designer Gianetto De Rossi. The film features numerous iconic scenes which have helped it stand the test of time. The film has secured its status as an all-time classic and is a title respected by horror fans the world over. If this is your first opportunity to watch the Italian cult masterpiece, you're in for a treat. We're joined by Loaded's horror aficionado and award-winning director of Three's a Shroud, Dan Brownlee. He's going to give us a little insight into why Zombie Flesh Eaters is still a classic to the genre to this day, and why it's one of his favourite films. Hi Dan, how are you doing?
I'm all good, thank you.
What is it you like so much about Zombie Flesh Eaters?
Zombie Flesh Eaters was around back when you still had the video nasties. I'm very old, so I can remember not watching my favourite horror films and only trying to get them on crappy VHS copies. I think that really helped it, but a lot of what really made it stand out was the fact it had guts. It took a lot of risks, like fighting sharks and having people have their eyes gouged out. A lot of stuff that wasn't really acceptable at the time.
Yeah, I actually heard that they had sick bags in the cinemas when this film was out because some of the scenes were so shocking. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know that.
No, apparently so. So the underwater scene, like you just mentioned, really is like unlike any other.
Yeah.
It's just one of the scenes that makes the film so original. So do you want to tell us a little bit about why?
Why? Well, it's obviously you'd think it's a fake shark, and it's not. And I didn't even know till I read up about it. It's actually, they got everyone on the crew was trained how to take down the shark. It wasn't a normal camera crew, and the guy who's actually played a zombie was a shark trainer. In any shark film, there's never actually a shark attacking a person, and they properly went for it.
A real shark?
A real shark.
They used a real shark.
Real shark. But even so, you still had the half-naked woman, well, actually pretty damn near naked woman, around a shark. It's a tiger shark as well. It's a known man-eater. That's still, I don't think, something you could do today. Just, you know, Steve Irwin's a very good example of getting messed up by nature. You couldn't really just go and aggravate an animal. Zombie Flesh Eaters was quite daring for the time. There was a lot of really shocking imagery going on, a lot of very close, hardcore gore, and of course you have the shark scene. I haven't really seen an actor attack a real shark before or since. I mean, the health and safety wouldn't have it for one. And the fact they actually got to rip the arm off, that genuine people work with animals, they don't let the animals actually even tear a prosthetic off the human in case they get it in the head they can do it.
So they ripped someone's arm off?
Well, he ripped the zombie's arm off.
Was it a fake arm?
I doubt it's a fake arm at all.
So it's a real zombie and a real arm?
Yeah.
But they got away with it?
They got away with it because he was Italian and it was the 70s. So
it's an Italian film. Half of the cast were Italian, half were English or American.
A lot of Americans that I've heard always found it very hard when they go to Italy to make films, because what they'll do is they'll do all the dubbing afterwards, which is why dubbing's so notoriously bad. because they're literally on set. The Americans couldn't get their head around the fact that people be on the phones arguing and shouting, and they were just saying, "Oh, just mouth your words." So that's actually why the dubbing always looks so bad.
So the Italians on set were talking Italian, and the people who spoke English were talking English, and they kind of pieced it together. So when they were having conversations, they kind of had no idea who they were bouncing off.
And even Italian films, like the Gallo films, is it Gallo? Giallo, there you go, thank you. Apparently, even when it's just Italian, they would still just speak Italian, but they wouldn't record the sound. They'd do it all after in post.
Apart from a handful of superstitious natives, I'm the only one who knows what you're doing.
So one of the most memorable scenes as well, and was for me, is the eye that kind of gouges on this like splinter. So that was the one that I think really still has me looking the other way. I find it quite, you know, anything coming towards your eye is going to be kind of difficult to watch. Do you like that scene?
Well, the eye one I like because it was even when Zombie Flesh Eaters came out back when the VHS days, when it was like £20 a VHS and you bought it, and it was cut, and it really annoyed me because I'd heard so much about it, and when I finally got to see it, it was cut, and now it's there, it's still really gruesome because the eye is just horrible. Even though you can kind of tell it's a dummy, it's still such a sensitive part of the body that it still gives you a really bad reaction.
It's definitely going to make you cringe. And the makeup in the film, the makeup was great. I mean, for its time.
For its time, yeah, it was great. I mean, there's it was shot. Was it around some Dawn of the Dead? And Dawn of the Dead was, although groundbreaking in many respects, the zombie makeup was just kind of pale skin. Where even though today it kind of looks a bit hokey, they really went for a decrepit, nasty look, and that's one of the reasons why it stands up.
As a filmmaker, what do you think establishes Zombie Flesh Eaters as a cult classic?
I'd say it's a very specific score, it's the time it came out, it's the fact that it took such steps when no one else was doing it. I think all these things have compiled together, and plus, as you say, the daring scenes of like the shark and the eye gouging, the makeup, it just all came together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stan, if you're a zombie, who would you bite? So, Dan, tell me what your favourite scene in the film is.
My favourite scene in the film was the fat zombie at the beginning, because you never really see fat zombies.
That's true.
They're all really skinny and withdrawn. There's this big fat zombie with nasty-ass skin, all blood pouring out of his mouth. And I thought it's really quite cool.
I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Stay where you are, mister. Throw your hands on the deck there. I told you not to move. Don't move!
So we kind of symbolised what zombies are. They're just big, fat, eating machines. And the fact he kind of just burst out the back of the boat, I thought was really quite powerful.
Did you know that even though that scene was at the beginning of the film, it's actually filmed after the rest of the film in New York because they wanted to keep it in line with the American audience. They put a bit more, set it in America rather than Italy or the Caribbean.
I did. And also, they called it Zombie 2 because Dawn of the Dead was released as Zombie.
Right.
And part of linking it to America, so the audience would think it's a sequel, even though it had nothing to do with the other film.
So why do you think Italians make such good horror?
Italians really went for the gore when it came to horror. A lot of the films are known for is Cannibal Ferox, Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Apocalypse, and they really didn't pull any punches. They absolutely just went for gore. They had genitals being ripped off, nude people being disemboweled, and it's something that, especially in England where you had the ban going on, is something that horror fans were really looking for.
Really?
Yeah, there's the entire wave of it. Try being a horror fan during the early 90s. It sucked.
I wasn't very old. I wasn't old enough to watch horror in the early 90s. Really? No. So I think the score is always really important to a film. Do you think it's got a real classic kind of 70s like horror score? Do you think that's really important?
Well, yeah, I mean, the point of it having that sort of synth score is because it's not a normal score with normal instruments like guitar or vocals or stuff like that, like romantic comedies have. It makes it even more unnerving. And the fact synth has that really, the sound quality wasn't very good, so that sort of echoey sound added to it, and just as you're watching something unnerving, the sound just gets into your brain. It was really effective.
The thing with a horror film is like the music kind of really adds to those jumps. I think sometimes you know it's not enough just someone popping out at you, but you need that kind of like the build up and then, you know.
Yeah, the score's a very unsung hero of horror a lot of the time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that, Dan, and for all of you guys about to watch the movie, enjoy Zombie Flesh Eaters.